Welcome to the Widows Collective, where grief meets hope, healing, and community. I'm Lauren Lentz, grief coach, fellow widow, and the heart behind this space. There is life before loss, and then there is life after. If you're here, it likely means your life has been turned upside down by the death of your person. Maybe you've just found yourself in this new world that feels unrecognizable, or maybe you've been walking it for a while, trying to figure out what healing looks like now. I want you to know you are not alone. This podcast is a gathering place for widows living in the after. Together, we'll name the ache, honor the love, and share tools, truths, and stories that help you feel supported along the way. My hope is that every episode gives you a sense of community, comfort, and permission to meet yourself exactly where you are. Hello, and welcome to episode 1, Life in the After. Can I just take a moment to say that starting a podcast has been an extremely humbling experience. The inner perfectionist in me has come undone. I think I'd be embarrassed to tell you how many times I've actually recorded this episode, but I share because I think it's a testament to how much I care, to how much it means to me to have this podcast be received well by the women that are so important to me, my widow sisters. I am honored, excited, and equally as nervous to be sitting here. I've dreamed up creating a podcast for a long time, and I allowed imposter syndrome to run the show. I have worried about everything you could possibly think of, whether I'd be knowledgeable enough, if my words would be profound enough to truly resonate with you, and if my voice even deserved a seat at the table alongside women that I look up to, women who are doing amazing things in the grief space, work that has helped normalize our grief experience in today's world. And then something came up for me. My own voice came into my head and asked a question that I often ask my own clients when their inner critic is showing up or a limiting story continues to cycle inside of their minds. And this is something that you can use right away too. This question, who would I be without this thought? And instantly when I asked myself that, I became calm. And the first word that came to my mind was free. I would be free to just show up as I am. Additionally, right after I thought that, an image came to my mind of speaking to other widows. And every time I've spoken to a widow and they've said, I am so grateful to know that I am not the only one who felt that way, or I share a story and they mention that I've helped them feel less alone, or like they're not actually losing their mind. And you know that feeling when someone reassures you that you're not going crazy. It's like, okay, I can breathe again. You know, it's you feel less alone in your experience. And it reminded me of something important. We need more spaces like this. And not because we don't already have these spaces, not because they don't exist, but because we need more of them. Places where we can be honest and vulnerable and raw about the things that are really hard to say out loud. Somewhere we can sit with our grief, our memories, our fears, and know that we are not journeying this foreign world all by ourselves. And it's not just something we feel we need. It is actually backed by research. I don't know if you have ever heard of the 80-year Harvard study. People have talked about it. I've heard about it over the years and then kind of forget about it. And then recently someone brought it up in a podcast and it gave me that aha. Just one of those moments where I was like, oh yes, this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. It is the longest running study on happiness and well-being, and it has found that the quality of our relationships, our sense of connection and belonging, is the strongest predictor of our health and our overall fulfillment. That's why I believe so deeply in the power of the collective we. Healing happens in community. It's been going on since the dawn of time. When we share our stories, when we witness each other's pain and progress, something within us shifts. Something within us lightens. We begin to remember that we're a part of something so much bigger than ourselves. We're still connected, even when the life as we knew it has dramatically changed. That's what I want this space to be. A place where you can come and breathe, be seen, and know you belong. I saw a story from David Kessler, grief expert and author, the other day where he shared a video of Diane Keaton speaking about regrets in her life. And what she said shocked me because I've always considered her to be so courageous and brave. Not that she's not. It's just an interesting perspective that she shared. She said she wished she had taken more chances and leaned less into fear. That she would have done more if she hadn't let fear guide her choices. And that hit me deeply because so often I lead with fear. And I know as widows, we know how fragile life can be. How there are no guarantees. And sometimes often fear will show up when we are moving forward. When we find joy again, when we step into the unknown, when we feel like we might be making the quote unquote wrong decision. Our fear at times can feel heavier than grief itself. But what I want for me and for you is a life where hope and faith have room too. Where fear is not always taking the driver's seat, where hope and faith have more room to live inside of us. A life where we can honor our grief while still giving ourselves permission to dream, to feel joy, to take chances, and to live fully. So here I am, slightly terrified, but showing up anyway, not letting fear run the show. I'll do my best to curate these conversations organically, but please know the inner teacher in me, the one who was a teacher for more than a decade, loves structure and leans into a good graphic organizer and plans because I don't want to miss anything important that I want to share with you. So some of our conversations will feel carefully thought out and reflective, while others will flow more freely, like a real-time heart-to-heart between the two of us. If you have ever held back from speaking your truth or felt uncertain about stepping into something new, I get it. I see you. That's exactly what this space is for. Showing up messy, showing up scared, and still moving forward anyway. And I want to take a moment to share a personal reflection. When I first became widowed, 1, I didn't think that I was going to survive. And 2, I never imagined being here. And by here, I mean talking about grief out loud, sharing my story, or guiding others through theirs. But what I've come to find through my own personal experience and through watching others around me be those beacons of light for others, providing them hope in a time that felt so hopeless. Healing calls us to share what we've learned when we're ready, to let others know that they're not alone. This podcast is for widows, for those navigating life after loss, feeling disoriented and lonely or unsure of what comes next. Episodes will come out weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, especially around the holidays, and most will be about 15 to 25 minutes long. Short enough to listen to on a walk, during your morning coffee, or in the car when you need a quiet moment for yourself. As a fellow widow, I understand that our brains don't always hold the same focus or capacity that they did before. And so I wanted these episodes to feel like manageable, bite-sized moments to exhale, reflect, and feel seen without needing a notebook or a big chunk of your day taken up. We'll explore different seasons of grief, the early days when everything feels raw and visceral, the middle seasons where you begin to find a rhythm again, even when life is different, and the later years when grief shows up quietly, unexpectedly, but often still profoundly. You'll hear honest reflections about love, loss, and rebuilding life, guided exercises and meditations to reconnect with your body and breath, conversations with other widows and grief professionals who offer insight, wisdom, and comfort, and practical tools for navigating everyday life while holding space for your grief. My goal here isn't to tell you how to move forward. There is no roadmap for grief. My goal is to help you move with your grief, to be able to integrate it in a way that feels gentle, grounded, and true to you. If this feels like the kind of support you've been craving, I hope you hit subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Each one is curated with intention, care, and heart for you. Before we close today, I want to give you a little sneak peek into what's coming next, my story and my why. I'll be sharing more about my personal journey, how I've navigated life after loss, what inspired me to start this podcast, and why I feel so called to create this space for widows. Until next time, sending you a big hug and lots of love. You've been listening to the Widows Collective. I'm Lauren Lentz, and it means so much to me that you spent this time here today. If you found comfort or connection in today's episode, I invite you to please subscribe, leave a rating, or share it with someone who might need a little support. You can also follow me on Instagram at I'm Sorry We're Friends and join my email list at laurenlentz.com to explore my one-to-one grief coaching, group program, retreats, and other tools designed to help widows navigate loss with understanding and guidance. I hope you'll join me next week for another conversation where we'll continue exploring grief, healing, and ways to reimagine life after loss. I'm sorry you're here, and I'm so grateful that you are. Thank you for being a part of this community. Your presence is an act of courage and self-compassion, and I'm honored to walk this path alongside you.